Alright, this is the Warmachine prototype explanation video, I guess, whatever that's supposed to mean. Mainly I just want to put out some ideas about what I'm working on, basically what I'm thinking of, because I haven't actually built any of this stuff yet. The irony is I actually do have some of the parts I need to create the War JT, the Warmachine arc reactor jewel thief, but most of the other parts that I did have that I got rid of a couple months ago, now I need them. Now it's like, God, that sucks. I could have actually made a small working model of the War JT power source. That would have been cool. That would have been at least something. That would have been a start. Well, at least I know how to make one. I have the concept and the design, so I have most of the materials. I just need to get the materials that I used to have. Get those, and I'll be able to create a small prototype. Won't produce that much power, but produce a good amount. What I personally want is to start off is be able to create 100, 200, maybe even 300 volts of power. Specifically 300 volts of power. I would like to be able to produce that with the War JT. So that's definitely a goal. If I could achieve that 300 volts of power, that'd be good. That's a lot of power. I could power a lot of stuff with that. I could recharge a lot of devices with that. One, I just want the device for my own personal use to be able to create 300 volts of power at any given time, so I can recharge all my electrical devices like my tablets and my phone and all that stuff. Even be able to hook up my laptop to it and power my laptop with it. That'd be awesome, especially when I'm traveling and whatnot. So personally, I just want to create it just so that way I have renewable free power source. I could always recharge all my devices with it. But ultimately it will be part of this design, of course, because we need some way of powering the suit. Now the concept for the suit has always been a protective suit with flight capabilities. Mainly the flight capabilities is to prove or show, whichever way you want to look at it, the possibilities for just for a suit that can fly. You know what I mean? The ability to fly without a big airplane, as it were. So just to show that it is possible to fly wearing this suit. This suit's not going to be heavy. That will help with the whole thrust to weight ratio. I don't expect it to be heavy. It's supposed to be light armor. As you can see, all the parts of the armor that you see has the ACU pattern, the military ACU pattern. These parts are solid, and those are the most protective parts. Those are the parts that protect the most, because those are heavy armor. So that's heavy protection. So that's heavy armor. All the other spots that are not colored with this pattern, these are the light armored spots. I want them to be flexible, of course, because these are the main parts of the body that flexes a lot. So I want some flexibility, mobility, of course. The joints, gotta make sure that the joints are flexible as well. I'm thinking of using memory metal, since that does exist. I'm interested in using memory metal for hinges and joints. That way they're flexible when there's no electrical power going through, when the power source is off. They're flexible, so you'll be able to mainly for joints like locks, locking mechanisms and whatnot. that when you put the armor on, because the idea is all these platings, the helmet, you know, whatnot, that have all the patterns on, those connect to the suit. You put them on. There are protective layers that you put onto the suit. What you see here, all this extra stuff and whatnot, that is the actual suit. It'll be, you know, it'll have light armor on it, of course. It'll be flexible, of course. That's part of the reason why it has to be light armor, so it's flexible. And that's what you put on first, and then you will snap on the rest of the armor. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to snap them on. I'll come up with some really creative way of doing it. Probably some magnetic interlocking system, maybe even memory metal locking system, where you put a little electrical current in, everything locks in place and holds itself together. I'll figure out some creative way of doing it. But currently everything will interlock, probably set up hinges with some latches for the first prototype, until I come up with a more fancy and more advanced way of locking the system of the armor plating onto the suit. So memory metal will be one of the elements I want to incorporate into the suit. I want the heavy armor. My concept is I want to create a form of vibranium, which I want to call vibranium, probably even give it a number nomenclature like vibranium 1.0 or something, because it won't be exactly like vibranium, you know, the comic book version, but the concept is a compound of metals that gives the effect of vibranium. I want it to be I don't want the metal armor to vibrate. I want it to absorb energy, absorb vibrations, so either it disperses the vibration like kinetic energy and stuff like that, in case it's, you know, for when the armor impacts things or gets hit. When it's functioning, when it's moving, you know, when I'm walking, I don't want the suit vibrating, obviously. I want to be able to reduce that impact. If I fly high and fall down and hit the floor, I want it to absorb the impact. I don't want it to ripple through the armor and shake me up in the suit, if I'm wearing it, of course, or if somebody else is wearing it. I don't want them to feel the shock wave of the impact. So that's why I want a anti-vibrating or vibration absorbing type of alloy for the suit. Let's see. There's no weaponry on this suit. I have no plans directly for weapons. The idea of the suit is a protective suit of armor, or a full body armor suit, as it were, and flight capabilities. The flight capabilities is more so just for proof of concept. It's just to show that it is possible, more so than a necessity for the suit. I'm more interested in a suit of protection, suit of armor, a full body protection suit, a suit that can protect you from explosives, any type caliber rounds, 50 cal, so forth and so forth. So the idea is you wear this, you survive almost anything, which is way better protection than what we currently have in the US military. So that's the main purpose of this, is a better suit of protection, so whoever's wearing it can perform their duties a whole lot better and run less risk of bodily harm. That's the main purpose. I personally want to add more protection back here to the lower back to prevent any back injuries that might occur from using the suit, among other things. I also want to incorporate in the back some ion thrusters, just like the hands and the feet will comprise of ion thrusters. Some people disagree with the idea of me using ion thrust for the flight capabilities. They have many reasons why, and I understand why they would not agree with it, but the concept is, well, they disagree because they're like, well, it's not strong enough, it's not reliable enough, whatever reason they're saying. And it's like, well, think about it. The goal is to make them reliable, to make them efficient, to make it work. That's the whole purpose. I take a simple concept like, well, since the War JT is producing electrical power and the suit will be powered by electricity, it makes sense that the propulsion system, the system that allows it to fly, uses electricity. It's not, the suit is not powered by gas or jet fuel. It's it's powered by electricity. It's like a robot, if you want to look at it that way. It's electrical. It's an electrical device, just like a phone or a tablet or a computer. It's an electrical device. So it's powered by electricity. So the propulsion system will obviously run on electricity. And the idea is to use the electricity as the thrust, as the propulsion, propellant, whatever you want to call it. So that's why I'm using ion thrust. I've seen good works on ion thrust. I've seen ion thrust engines that are really strong. It's like, yeah, the suit is supposed to be lightweight. The pilot should weigh less than 300 pounds. Any heavier than that, that's overdoing it. The pilot themselves should weigh under 300 pounds. The suit, I would like it to weigh about 50 pounds. So let's say the pilot is 350, so 350, so that's less than 400 pounds. So then we just have to focus on thrusting and pushing and causing the ability to fly for somebody who's under 400 pounds, while a jet engine or a rocket or something is way heavier than that. It's in the tons. Even though somebody who's like 400 pounds is almost close to half a ton, which is 1,000 pounds. It's half of a ton, not an actual ton. While most planes are way beyond 2 tons. A sports car is like 2 tons. A jet plane has to be way heavier than that. It's probably like 20 tons or something. I don't know. I ain't look it up, but you get the idea. It's a person and with a strong thrust system. So at least if you don't get full flight out of it, at least be able to hover off the ground and be able to move around about 10-20 feet off the ground. 10-20 feet off the ground moving around ain't that bad. That is still flying. That is still flying. Even if you want to call it hovering or levitation, it's better than nothing. Think about it. It's somebody in an iron suit actually a couple of feet off the ground moving around. It's like that's impressive as is. They don't have to hit Mach 5 or go into the stratosphere or something. What I mean? That'd be awesome, but let's not go crazy. That main idea is, hey, at least get off the ground. That way it proves that, hey, it is possible, and with better development and time, you can hit the stratosphere. But for now, just being able to levitate off the ground with a good amount of thrust is a start. Let's see what else. Of course, the onboard systems, all the electronics and whatnot. I'll figure those out later. It'd be funny I make this run on like Windows or something. Probably won't be allowed to. I prefer Windows. but I might have to run it on Linux or some crazy operating system, or I'd create my own. That'd be even cooler, but oh well. I use whatever I can. Probably would be Linux, especially if I make it simple enough. It'd be Linux. Let's see, what else? I guess not much, since I already talked about the power source, and I have a video about the power source. No, I don't have a video about the power source. Well, yeah, I have a couple of videos about the power source. Soon, eventually I'll make another video about my plans and schematics for the War JT. But I can't give out too much of it. Oh yeah, this is a disclaimer for future reference. This is a personal project. I can't really say it's a private project, since I'm obviously posting some information about it online. But the main thing is that I'm just showing bits and pieces, showing what I can to inspire, basically to show, hey, look, it can be done, but not give away all of my secrets. I can't give every detail out. You know, I can give some ideas, you know, like, hey, I want to use some really cool metal or material for the armor, and I can't give you the formula or the specifications or the process in, you know, producing the alloy necessary for the armor. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. Because I'm really not interested in anyone else reproducing this. Anybody being inspired by this and maybe even come up with their own version and whatnot, hey, stuff happens. That just means people are paying attention and they understand. But I'm not giving away every little detail. It's not like I'm going to give out the blueprints to this. You know, right now, currently, most of it's concept designs. You know, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, how I'm going to build it, and that's how I always do it. I plan before I execute. Usually when I have materials, let's say I just have stuff, I have stuff to play around with. Like most of the times I make models out of cardboard, because cardboard is available and I can experiment. I can put something together real quick that I just thought of, and if it doesn't work out too well, then I'll just rework it, redesign it, rebuild it out of cardboard until I find a better version, until I find it's like, hey, this is way better. That's how the DDS, the dual disc slim, came out. Think about it, it's dual disc slim. That means the original version was not slim. Oh man, was the original version big. It was made out of pizza boxes, and the dual disc itself was pretty much the size of the pizza box. So imagine a large pizza, or extra large pizza, I think it was. So imagine an extra large pizza box having a dual disc that size on your wrist. That was ridiculous. But that's what I started off with. It looks similar to Kaiba's Battle City, of course, Battle City dual disc. But I was like, yeah, this is way too big. And then I was like, you know what, I could make this smaller. And boom, lo and behold, the dual disc slim. And you know, that obviously became popular. A lot of people like that concept, and I've been working at it, you know, and I even made a slimmer version. I made a version where it slides out, that it can go from small, compact, and then extend. And now it's like, you know what, I can actually just rearrange some of the stuff, some of the card readers and whatnot, and overlay them, put them on top of each other in layers, and it's like, that would make it slimmer. That way I don't have to add any extra stuff to it other than just like, alright, I could put everything in layers. And by putting everything in layers, you put everything in one spot instead of, you know, putting everything in different areas. So that was awesome. So that's the quick history of the dual disc slim. And now you got the dual disc slim, what, 3.0? I don't even know what version it is now, but I think I'm calling it the DSP 2014. So it's the DSP 2014 edition, I guess. Enough about that. More videos to come when more ideas and more progress comes along. Alright, bye.